League of Legends at its highest level is a fighting game. The team that fights better is the team that is more likely to win the game. So everything that we do during the game is about setting up the perfect fight. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down some team fighting. Basically, I'm going to do a bit of a team fighting mini guide in which I'm going to be explaining the importance of identity, positioning, ability usage. And we're going to do that by going over a few team fights that I played in a game that I've just literally finished. And I'm gonna go over why some team fights actually go pretty bad and why some team fights actually go pretty good. And you're gonna get a pretty good understanding of some of the team fighting basics that you can just use in your own game as well. Now, first things first, okay? This game, I'm doing really good, all right? I'm doing really, really good. I'm gapping the shit out of ASO. I'm like 30, 35 CS up at the moment or something like that. And it looks like there's going to be a fight happening at the Dragon right here, which is fantastic. We're really happy fighting. Tristana is very strong right now. And I'm also not too weak. Let's see if we can find a tab maybe. Ooh, that's a really fast tab. I'm not sure if I'm going to find... Oh, we find a tab. So what you find? Jarvan's not weak. Diana is really strong, level 9 with Proto Belt and HP. HP is a really valuable stat in the early game. Nyla's not that strong. Senna's not that strong. Naughty's whatever. Tristana's really strong. I'm stronger than Asol. That's kind of the gist of it, okay? So what we know is that Victor is a really good front-to-back oriented team fighter, right? And we want the enemies to come towards us, and that's going to give us an easy time to land our spells and actually deal damage towards them. Now, what we're going to find is that in this dragon setup here, this is a really good position for us because we now create this front-to-back in this choke point right now. And this is really good for Victor to play. So all I need to do is make sure that I stand away from my Tristana so that she and us and me do not get AoE'd by the enemy's AoE spells. Diana R, Asol R is a potential threat. So these are spells that we got to be very mindful of. And therefore, that makes the perfect positioning right here. Okay? And then we just play it slow. I let my Jarvan and my Nautilus do the front lining. And then me and Trist will deal damage. We'll do our stuff. But what I do instead is, I'm feeling funky today. Okay? I miss my E. Then I go in and I do some kind of crazy flank. R. Now, it's not horrible. You know, it's pretty bad, but it's not horrible. And this eventually leads to the fight being lost. Now, what we identify is because of that, I didn't get proper E damage off. My R was a little bit wacky. Me and Trist had complete anti-synergy with the R and with the W and with the Jarvan R. And the reason why all of this happened is because of my crazy flank, allowing Diana basically a giga angle coming in here, getting her good position. All I needed to do was to sit back there, right, chill next to the dragon and next to my Tristana. And the moment Nautilus hooks in, I gotta stand right here, DPSing away from my Tristana. And if I do that, we're in a really good position. But because I don't, we basically get smacked. Awesome. All right, let's go to a new team fight here. So we're fighting for dragon control. So I'm taking up the mid prio, which is going to allow us area control. And it looks like Nyla makes a little bit of a mistake in which that we greatly punish her bad positioning. And we're now in a spot where we are in a really favorable position to fight. Now, Asol has actually gotten a little bit fat. So my target selection now goes on to the Asol. And in the end, you know, the fight is looking really good. We killed Viego, we killed the Nyla, I flashed on the Asol. But unfortunately, we don't kill him. And Diana also flashes away. So it was not a bad fight, but there's a lot to understand about this fight. And this is also the reason why it's so important to review fights like these. Even though it wasn't a bad fight, I could have played this way, way better, okay? So whenever you want to review these type of fights, of course, you got to look at what does your identity do. The first fight was really about identity. This fight is going to be about information gathering during the fight. And we're also going to talk about ability usage, okay? And getting max value from your spells. Now, initially, we see that my E was quite good. Perfectly placed on the Nila in the Jarvan R. Great Q as well. And then you see this W. Now this W was complete doo-doo. And the reason why this doo-doo is because there's 0 value. I'm not blocking Diana. I'm not using it really all that useful. And I'd much rather keep it for maybe a position where I can follow up CC or use it in an area where the enemies can then go away from. Because the reality of the situation is that we just killed the Nila and that means that we're in a bit of a man advantage position. We're in a really good spot. Now, I loved this. This was really good. This ult onto the Asol, because Asol was the most fat member. Into the Nautilus knockback with the hook. This was beautiful. Now, I want you guys to imagine if I actually had my gravity field up right here. Wow. Imagine if I can place it under the Nautilus hook into auto attack. which would have changed the seed Azol, which allowed me to kill him without flashing. And then currently Azol has 10 stacks on the Magi's. We could end the review off right here. It was complete game over because Azol would die with Magi stacks to wrap it up. So unfortunately, I missed an opportunity to win the game on the spot. Then another thing that I see is that our boys get engaged upon by the Viego in the back. And what I do is I actually backclick right here. But what happens is that this fight is giga won here because it's a 3v1 versus the Viego. So I'm backclicking while the fight is winning, allowing these guys space to basically get away. And what happens now is that they can just run away because my next W is also doo-doo. You see how I just rushed the W instantly right here? Really, really, really bad W. Imagine if I hold it and I place it right there in the choke where they want to run away from. Then you're in a position where you actually get max value from the spell. And then we're in a spot where we get even more out of this fight. I could have basically won the game on this fight. Could have done the Baron after this fight. Because we don't get the max value out of it, unfortunately, we overstay. Triss dies. Azol gets a 1k shutdown. Sucks. All right, next fight around the Baron here. So what happened is that our team collapsed onto Viego on bot side. And what happened is that I think Viego got himself a position where I think he ulted over the wall or something like that, and he actually got out, and the enemy team starts Baron. Now, what you instantly identify is that you see my positioning. It looked like this first fight where I was flanking. I'm flanking again on the Victor. This is not what Victor does. Victor wants the front-to-back team fight. I should link up with my Tristana. Matter of fact, Baron in this new season is so tanky. It's so hard for the enemy to take. We shouldn't be scared that they're gonna one-shot it or nuke it. It takes some time, you know? And what happens right now is because I'm on the flank, it's a little bit unlucky, of course, that Tristana ults the Diana towards me. But still, my position is just ass, right? I'm going to be really honest. I've got bad positioning, and I instantly get punished for it. And that's why eventually I die on the back end, and this slows the play down. So what I should do instead of flanking, just link up with my team. I should just front to back, right here, enter with my team. And then we're going to be in a great position to play this fight. Play multi-threat with Tristana, be the secondary carry, and there's no way we will lose this fight. So, could have done a little bit of a better job here in regards to my team fighting. We finally have one more fight right here at the end of the game, which both Dragon and Baron are going to be spawning. Okay, with Dragon and Baron spawning, that means that mid prio is so unbelievably important. Now, what you then find is that I'm going to be heavily contesting mid wave. I'm going to try to get this wave out to make it hard for the enemies to get control around the area. Now, the Diana sees this as a potential opportunity to now try to find a hard engage onto me. Remember what I talked about, right? I want the enemies to come towards me. Of course, I want to live, but I want them to run towards me because then it's so easy for me to land my spells, get my damage off. And guess what happens? They run towards me. They don't get the initial killing engage, and we just wipe the fight. Matter of fact, this is really, really insane because the game looked almost over after we had a mega throw here on the Dragon, and we almost lost the game from this point. So the game was almost over. Ace was 5 items. And then because we let the enemies run towards us, they now overstep. Diana oversteps. She doesn't get the initial kill. Azol, who's the carry, got knocked. I found my target onto the Azol really well with my R. You see the amount of damage that my R is pumping out in this sequence. It's very, very, very insane. And this actually brings us up with the W. And this was not a W that we actually expected. So at the end, I finally fought towards my champion identity. I didn't give them a proper engage. They couldn't follow up because of their team composition. And this led to a position where we were finally able to get a good fight going. This game could have been over at 22 minutes because of the heavy lead that we got in it again. But because of my team fighting not being good enough, we eventually had to put it back at this final fight. So, a few key team fighting tips, guys. Number 1, ask yourself the question, okay? What is your identity in the fight, okay? And you want to identify this before the fight, so you understand where to position, where to stand. You want to also understand what your win condition in the fight is, okay? What is your role / win condition? In this case, I had a really fat Trist. So I should stand next to Trist, not too close, far away enough that we can't get AoE'd, that I provide a multi-threat source. So when they go onto me, Tristana can hit. That's like the idea behind it. So you want to be very aware of your win condition and role. And then you want to review these type of fights through the micro-macro framework. So you want to figure out, okay, how could I have used my spells better? And then through macro, you want to ask yourself the question, okay, was my target selection good? You know, was my positioning all right? Flanking Victor. Was the fight even smart to take, right? Was this fight coherent with my win condition? Was the fight coherent with my identity? What could I have done instead of taking these fights? These are all questions to ask yourself to identify if the fight was good or not. And then by viewing it and reviewing it basically, you're going to start building pattern recognition, and these same situations will pop up in future games, allowing you to find improvement. So, short team fight mini guide. If you guys have any questions, check them in the comments. Thank you all for watching. See you guys real soon in a new video. Peace out.